Welcome back for another deep dive. Today, we're going to be looking into Yat Siu,
Oh yeah, Yat Siu.
a name you might have heard in the Web3 space.
Definitely in the metaverse.
Yeah, he's the co-founder and chairman of Animoca Brands.
Which, if you're not familiar, they're heavily involved in blockchain gaming and digital property rights.
Yeah, and I think what really stood out to me was that, we're talking about a guy who trained in cello,
Really?
flute and piano at the Music and Arts University of Vienna.
Wow.
Not your typical tech CEO background.
No, not at all. It's quite a departure from, the typical Silicon Valley story.
Yeah, and then we see this turn towards technology, so let's rewind a bit.
Okay, let's go back.
And explore his early life. I mean, was he always interested in tech, or did something spark that interest?
Well, his parents were both musicians.
Okay, so that explains the music.
Yeah, music was a huge part of his upbringing, but even though he was clearly talented, he kind of ended up taking a different path.
So how does someone go from mastering classical instruments to the world of tech? Like, was there a specific moment for him?
It seems like it was a gradual thing.
Yeah.
He had these early roles at Atari, Germany.
Atari?
Yeah, Lexicor and AT&T.
Oh, wow.
Kind of hinting at this growing interest in technology.
So dipping his toes in the water, but hasn't fully dived in yet?
Yeah, exactly.
What happens next?
Well, in the mid-90s, he makes a big move to Hong Kong.
Hong Kong?
Yeah.
Okay, that's a change.
Big change.
From Vienna. So what took him there?
Hong Kong was like the place to be for tech entrepreneurs at the time.
Uh-huh.
And this is where Siu starts to make his mark. He co-founds Cyversity, which became one of Asia's first free web and email providers.
Whoa.
Can you imagine?
That's huge, yeah.
Free web and email in the early days of the internet.
Way ahead of the curve.
Yeah, totally.
Talk about recognizing an opportunity.
Exactly. Shows his vision, his understanding of what the internet could be, even when it was just starting out.
Yep.
But he doesn't stop there. In 1998, he teams up with Anthony Yip, and they create Outblaze.
Okay, Outblaze, tell me more.
So they were basically empowering users to create their own websites, customized websites with email, message boards, all that stuff.
So this is way before, like, Squarespace and Wix and all those easy website builders.
Oh, yeah, way before all that.
Wow.
He's seeing a need, and he's providing a solution,
It sounds like he's constantly innovating.
Yeah, always pushing the boundaries.
And this all leads us to Animoca Brands, right?
You got it. Animoca Brands enters the scene in 2015.
And this is where things start to take off in the Web3 space. But let's break it down. Animoca Brands didn't start as this blockchain powerhouse, did it?
No, they were focused on mobile gaming and apps.
Oh, really?
Yeah, casual games, entertainment apps, that kind of stuff.
Interesting. So at what point did they make this shift to Web3 and the Metaverse? What sparked that?
That's where Siu's vision really comes in. He sees the potential of blockchain technology to revolutionize digital ownership and, create these new opportunities for gamers and creators.
So I'm sensing a buy here. Was everyone on board with this shift to blockchain?
Well, some people were skeptical at first. A blockchain wasn't, still is a relatively new technology.
Yeah.
And there were concerns about its complexity and scalability.
Especially back then, it was a pretty niche concept.
Yeah, for sure.
So how did C convince people that this was the way to go?
He had this strong belief that blockchain could empower users by giving them true ownership of their digital assets. And he saw the metaverse as this natural evolution of the internet, this place where people could interact, create, and own their experiences in a whole new way.
So this is about more than just games.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It's about shifting the balance of power in the digital world.
Absolutely. And that vision resonated with a lot of people, especially those who felt that the current internet was too centralized, controlled by a few big corporations.
Yeah, I could see that.
So they pivoted to blockchain.
Okay.
And then what? How do they go from this mobile gaming company to a Web3 leader?
Yeah, how did that happen?
Well, they started by integrating blockchain technology into their existing games.
Okay.
They introduced NFTs into games like the Sandbox, Crazy Kings, Crazy Defense Heroes.
Now, hold on. For those listening who might be new to this, can you quickly explain what NFTs are and why people are so excited about them?
Yeah, so think of NFTs like digital collectibles.
Okay.
But with a certificate of authenticity.
Okay.
Each one is unique and can represent anything,
Okay.
Digital art, music, in-game items, virtual real estate.
So it's about owning a piece of the digital world.
Exactly. And because they're stored on a blockchain, ownership is verifiable and transparent.
Got it.
But Animoca Brands didn't just stop at NFTs.
Right.
They also started acquiring companies and partnering with major brands to expand their reach in the Web3 space.
Okay.
They've worked with some iconic IPs like Garfield Doraemon, even Thomas and Friends.
Wait, Thomas the Tank Engine?
Yeah.
What does that have to do with Web3?
Well, imagine owning a unique digital Thomas the Tank Engine collectible that you can use in a virtual world or trade with other fans.
I see. So they're tapping into these existing fan bases and introducing them to Web3 in a way that's familiar.
Yeah, exactly. Bridging the gap between the traditional world and the metaverse.
And speaking of bridging gaps,
Yeah,
Animoca Brands goes a step further with the launch of the Mocaverse in 2023.
the Mocaverse.
This is where things start to get really interesting.
Yeah, it's a Web3 community built around this collection of 8,888 unique NFTs called Mochas.
Hold on, only 8,888. Doesn't that seem a bit exclusive for a community that's supposed to be about decentralization?
That's a fair point. Some people have criticized the limited number of Mochas,
Okay.
arguing that it creates artificial scarcity and goes against the principles of inclusivity.
So what's the thinking behind this limited collection then?
Well, from Animoca Brands' perspective, the scarcity is part of what makes the Mochas valuable.
Okay.
It's like a limited edition collectible. And the Mocaverse itself is designed to be this exclusive community for holders of these NFTs.
So it's about creating a sense of belonging and shared purpose among a select group of people.
Exactly. And each Mocha represents one of 5 different tribes,
Okay.
each with its own values and characteristics.
Tell me more about these Mocha tribes.
Okay, so you've got the dreamers, the creative visionaries.
Okay.
Then you have the builders, the developers, and technologists.
Okay.
Then there's the angels, investors, and supporters.
Uh-huh.
The connectors, those who bridge communities and facilitate collaboration.
Right.
And lastly, the neo-capitalists.
Okay.
Those pushing the boundaries of decentralized finance and entrepreneurship.
Wow, that's quite a diverse group.
Yeah.
So what are the benefits of belonging to one of these tribes? What do you get for owning a Mocha?
Each tribe gets access to exclusive events, content, and opportunities within the Mocaverse.
Okay.
They also get voting rights on community decisions and can participate in governance proposals.
So it's like a microcosm of the decentralized world that C envisions.
Yeah, a community where everyone has a voice and can contribute to shaping its future.
But this all begs the question, how did Animoca Brands become so successful? I mean, they didn't just stumble into being a Web3 giant, did they?
You're right, their financial journey is a story in itself.
Okay.
It all started with their IPO on the Australian Securities Exchange back in 2015.
Hold on, we're about to get into some serious business talk.
Yeah.
Let's save that juicy financial story for part 2 of our deep dive.
Sounds good. We'll delve into the numbers and uncover the secrets of Animoca's impressive growth. Back in 2015, their initial public offering on the Australian Securities Exchange, it was a big step, but it wasn't until 2021 that things really blew up.
So what happened in 2021 that really launched them to that next level?
They secured these massive funding rounds,
Okay.
which propelled them to unicorn status,
Right.
valued at over $1 billion.
$1 billion. That's insane for, a company that started with mobile gaming.
Pretty impressive, right?
What was it about their approach that really attracted investors? Were people already seeing the potential of Web3 back then?
Oh, yeah, definitely. By that point, the world was starting to pay attention to Web3 and the Metaverse and Animoca Brands. They were in the perfect spot to take advantage of that. They'd already established themselves as a leader in blockchain gaming and NFTs.
Right.
Plus, that vision of a decentralized internet giving users more control,
Yeah.
that resonated with investors looking for the next big thing.
So it wasn't just the tech, it was the vision behind it.
Exactly. And they didn't just stop there. They continued to secure funding in 2023.
Wow.
Attracting investments from big names like CMCC Global,
Yeah.
Kingsway Capital Partners, Block One, Dapper Labs, OKX Ventures.
Those are some heavy hitters in the tech and finance world.
For sure.
It sounds like they're placing their bets on Animoca Brands and Yat Siu's vision.
Yeah, they're all in.
But let's be real, every success story has its bumps in the road, right?
Of course.
What are some of the criticisms that Siu and Animoca Brands have faced?
One of the big ones is the whole environmental impact of blockchain technology.
Right, the energy consumption.
Yeah, all those concerns about the carbon footprint.
That's a valid concern. Sustainability is a big deal these days. How have Animoca Brands addressed this?
Well, they've acknowledged the concerns, and they're taking steps to lessen their impact.
Okay.
They've invested in carbon offsetting initiatives, and they're actively looking into more sustainable blockchain solutions.
Such as?
Like proof-of-stake systems,
Right.
which use way less energy than proof-of-work systems like Bitcoin.
So they're not just ignoring the problem, they're trying to be part of the solution.
Exactly. It's important to remember that the blockchain world is still developing.
Yeah, it's early days.
And as the tech gets better, we'll see more solutions that tackle those environmental concerns.
I hope so, for sure. What other challenges have they encountered?
Another criticism comes from the volatility of the cryptocurrency market,
Yeah.
how unpredictable it can be.
The crypto market could be a roller coaster.
Totally. And Animoca Brands being so involved in NFTs and Web3,
Yeah.
they're obviously affected by those market swings.
How do they navigate that uncertainty?
It's tough. The value of their investments and assets can change drastically,
Yeah.
impacting their financial performance, but they've shown they can adapt by diversifying their portfolio,
Uh-huh.
investing in promising startups and focusing on sustainable business models that go beyond just short-term speculation.
So they're not just riding the crypto wave, they're in it for the long game.
Exactly. They're focused on creating real value and utility within the metaverse, not just chasing quick profits.
That's a good distinction to make. But let's be honest, there's still plenty of people who just don't get the whole Web3 thing.
Yeah.
They might see it as a fad or a risky investment. How would you respond to those skeptics?
I'd say look beyond the hype and understand the technology and its potential. Web3 is still young,
Yeah.
but it has the power to revolutionize how we interact online, how we create and own digital content, how we build communities.
It reminds me of the early days of the internet. So much
Exactly.
skepticism back then.
People were hesitant to embrace email or online shopping.
And look at us now.
Yeah, Web3 has the potential to be just as transformative, if not more so.
So it's about being open-minded and willing to explore new possibilities.
Absolutely. And I think Animoca Brands, with their focus on gaming entertainment, popular culture,
Yeah,
they're making Web3 more accessible and appealing to a wider audience.
for sure. We've talked a lot about Animoca Brands, but let's bring it back to Yat Siu, the man himself.
Okay.
He's obviously a successful entrepreneur, but what else makes him stand out?
One thing is his dedication to education and his involvement in shaping the future of Web3.
Oh yeah, I read somewhere that he's on the board of a school in Hong Kong.
That's right, he's a board director for the Dalton Foundation, which supports progressive education at the Dalton School, Hong Kong.
Interesting.
It shows his commitment to nurturing future thinkers and innovators.
That makes sense. He's clearly passionate about education and empowering young people to embrace technology.
And there's more. He was also appointed to the Hong Kong Task Force on promoting Web3 development.
Wow, so he's not just building companies, he's actively involved in shaping policy around Web3.
Exactly. He's a strong advocate for creating a supportive environment for Web3 innovation in Hong Kong. He believes it can be a leader in the global Web3 landscape.
That's impressive. It sounds like he's really trying to make a difference on a larger scale.
He is, and it's not just about business for him. It's about building a better future, a more decentralized and equitable internet that benefits everyone.
Okay, so we have this brilliant and driven individual who seemed to be doing it all.
Yeah.
But remember that incident with his X account getting hacked?
Oh, yeah, the one where it was used to promote a fake token. It just goes to show that even the most tech-savvy people can fall victim to these online scams.
Exactly. It's a valuable lesson for all of us. No matter how much you know about technology, you always have to be careful about online security.
Absolutely. It's a reminder that as Web3 becomes more mainstream, cybersecurity will be even more important.
Speaking of mainstream, what do you think the future holds for Yat Siu and Animoca Brands?
Well, considering their track record, I'd say the future's looking pretty bright. They're constantly innovating, expanding their reach, pushing the boundaries of what's possible in the metaverse.
It doesn't sound like they're slowing down anytime soon.
Not at all. And I think we can expect to see even more integration of Web3 technology into mainstream entertainment, gaming, even education.
Okay.
Animoca Brands is at the forefront of this trend, and I wouldn't be surprised to see them partnering with major brands and institutions to bring Web3 experiences to a wider audience.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here, but before we wrap things up, I want to bring it back to our listener.
Yeah.
What are some key takeaways they can apply to their own lives and careers?
I think the biggest lesson we can learn from Yat Siu is the importance of embracing change and being open to new possibilities. His journey from music to tech to Web3 shows the power of adaptability and continuous learning.
You know, never too late to learn something new and explore different paths.
Exactly. Another key takeaway is the value of community and collaboration. Web3 is a space where individuals can come together to build something bigger than themselves.
So get out there, connect with others, and explore the possibilities. But before you do, let's take a moment to reflect on Yat Siu's impact and the future he's helping to create. We'll be back in a moment to wrap up this deep dive.
And we're back wrapping up our deep dive into the world of Yat Siu. It's been quite a journey.
Yeah, from Vienna to the Metaverse, it's pretty amazing.
It is a reminder that, life takes unexpected turns, and sometimes you gotta embrace those new paths.
Totally. And, it's interesting how his background in music actually kind of led to his success in tech and the metaverse.
Yeah, it's like those connect the dots puzzles. You don't see the big picture until all the pieces are in place.
Exactly.
Sue's story is a good reminder that all our experiences, even the ones that seem random, can be valuable. Absolutely. And beyond that, he had this clear vision and the determination to go for it, even when people doubted him.
He really believes in this different future for the internet, right? One that's more decentralized, more equitable.
Yeah, he's not just talking about it, he's actually building it.
That's what makes him stand out. He's not just a businessman. He's an innovator, a thought leader, someone who's pushing for a better digital world for everyone.
And it's not just about the technology itself, it's about the human side of it, building communities, fostering a sense of belonging and purpose in this new digital space.
And that's where his dedication to education comes in, right? Shaping Web 3.0.
Definitely. I get that technology is only as good as the people using it. We need to prepare the next generation to use these tools responsibly.
So what can our listeners take away from all this? How can they apply these lessons to their own lives?
Be curious, explore new things, challenge the way you think.
Don't be afraid to connect the dots between your own experiences and these new technologies that are changing the world.
Exactly. It's all about lifelong learning, being open to the unknown.
Who knows, maybe the next Yat Siu is listening right now.
Maybe, and their journey might be even more unexpected.
We can't wait to see what the future holds. But for now, let's leave our listeners with a question to think about.
Okay.
Considering CEO's path from music to tech to Web3, how do you think our diverse backgrounds and experiences can contribute to innovation in new fields? Explore Web3 and the Metaverse, and think about how your own skills and passions can shape the future. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time, stay curious.